show me something new. I've got enough round here to do. Keep me satisfied for the rest of my life. So don't show me something new.
Welcome to a rather chilly edition of the Food and Beer Show. Now, I started off in Yorkshire before heading off to the Lake District, so I thought I'd carry on that northern route to a place steeped in beer history, Edinburgh.
As I walk along this road I've walked a million times, in a small town that I'd lived for all my life.
In the 1800s, Edinburgh was known as Old Reekie. Now, I reckon the reason for that is because at that time there were over 40 breweries in the old town itself, just over there behind me. So I'm going to go and explore. Although there's only one brewery left in Edinburgh today, the winding streets and alleyways reveal a vibrant and burgeoning bar and pub scene, reflecting a culture to be celebrated rather than berated.
So don't show me something new.
My first port of call is the Caley Sample Room, where owner John Clements has transformed a down-on-its-luck, run-down place into a food and beer experience to satisfy the most demanding of gastronauts. So John, how have you gone about changing people's attitudes and getting them to embrace beer and food as a gastronomic concept?
Well, we found just by introducing a bigger range of beers and some quality premium beers in bottles, etc., that people have been more inclined to drink bottled beers with food as opposed to having a glass of wine, for example. We've also built up relationships with local breweries, breweries like the Black Isle and Tempest down in the Borders, and they've come in, they've trained the staff in the beers, and then they've come and done evenings where we've developed menus and matched it to their beer. So each course we matched to one of their beers. So you'd round the evening off with a fairly strong porter and a cheese plate or something like that, which is people are so interested in, and they've been the evenings have been incredibly popular.
Have you got a favourite beer and food match from your
For me,
menu? Yeah.
The one you've got there, the O'Dell's 90s, is fantastic. I mean, you could have that with a steak or whatever. It's strong, it's robust, and it would go down really well. But
it's sensational, that actually. I'm kind of thinking that would be lovely being in Scotland with game.
Yeah.
It's big, it's robust, it's malty.
It will stand up to some flavours. Yeah, definitely. And you can have lighter beer, with your fish, something like Little Creatures maybe with a fish and chips would be fine, be good.
Well, mate, it's fantastic. I'm always banging on about the joys of beer and food, but to go into a place and see somebody who's taken a pub that's run down and using that concept and turning it round and making a success of it is totally inspiring to me.
Well, thanks very much. I mean, I think people have been talking about the beer and food thing for a long time, but I think for me, finally, it's catching on with so many different beers and microbreweries and people brewing different things, so many more imported bottled beers available. I think the beer and food thing's definitely catching on now. So
yeah, well, no,
stuff.
Fantastic. Well, keep doing the great work, and
thanks very much.
I think I should have a little bite off the menu
cheers.
to go with this. Brilliant, nice one. It fills me with joy to see a great concept brought to life by someone who cares, and it gives me hope for the future of the pub industry at a time when things can seem so gloomy. I said Edinburgh was steeped in brewing and pub history. Well, this place here has been in the same family for over 120 years. It's got to be worth a look. Chloe, this place is amazing.
Oh, thank you, Richard. Thank you very much.
So, what's the story of this main bar, I guess?
Yeah, this is the main bar. It's the whole public house has been in the same family, the Kerr family, since 1871. And this is your main bar. Round here we have the residence lounge, what's called the residence lounge. Here we have what's called a lounge bar.
Right.
And the tables are set up just for our lunchtime period. This little corner here is called the alcove.
For obvious reasons.
A very intimate little table, which a lot of people quite like. Now, this
so what have we got here?
Well, this is called the passageway. And then as you go in, obviously.
Yeah, it does what it says on the box.
And this is what we call the Churchill room, and this is access to the garden as well.
So I've noticed here, Gloria, we've got keys built into the fabric of the wall. What's the story
Yes,
behind
that's right.
these?
These are just keys that my husband and his brother collected through the years, and they've just placed in certain, placed in the hallway, just the door frames, etc., which are here and just to your right-hand side as well, as you'll see.
And who does the bicycle belong to?
That was my husband's original bicycle when he was a bit younger, yes.
So this is great because you see pubs try and contrive paraphernalia and bric-a-brac, but this is actually stuff with a proper story behind it as well.
Absolutely.
In time, looking out over a room of mine, all of those pictures that are hanging on my wall.
The pub is full of mementos and artefacts that connect directly to customers and owners, past and present. And not surprisingly, so do the names of the dishes on the menu. OK, time to order. I should have known there'd be a novel twist there too. I'm loving these names that you've got for stuff as well. Hector's lunchtime snack.
Yes, that was a gentleman, Hector McLeod. He used to come in for lunch, and he always had smoked salmon. And
Brilliant.
he's no longer with us, but we decided to name that dish after him, so it's Hector's lunchtime snack.
Great, I'm
And
looking
then-
for some more here.
Yeah, there's a few others. What would you like?
So I'm kind of thinking because I want to match it with a beer, and I love the Duker's IPA. So I'm reckoning a nice plate of
What about the
prawns.
seafood? Or the prawns, or do you want the seafood platter, the tea, which is a bit of everything?
Why not?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because that gives you your oysters
Yeah,
as well. And
absolutely, and it'll
yeah.
go beautifully with the Duker's as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So do I just?
No, I'll do it for you. What
will
you
you?
do. This is what I call a little bit of customer participation.
Right.
So just put the name at the top, Mr. Fox.
It looks like a betting slip.
It is.
It is.
Well, sort of. And it's a tea.
Right.
So what we do is we leave this up here so that I know what's going on.
Okay.
And we send this to the computer.
The computer.
And this is the computer.
Okay. Of course, that's my kind of computer.
Gone home. Kitchen.
Who needs computers?
Exactly.
I mean, Scotland does actually produce some of the best seafood in the world. And the perfect accompaniment, a pint of Duker's IPA. That is going to be beautiful. It's not actually a typically Scottish beer because it's quite hoppy, but it's got a beautiful, juicy, malty body to it. And that is going to complement this seafood dish absolutely perfectly. Oh, let's get stuck in.
To the love they'll feel when they're around, and they'll know now why they're.
The canny man epitomises everything that's great about British pubs. Warm eccentricity and people themselves being the foundations of the atmosphere and ambience. I'm starting to think here that Edinburgh pubs have really grabbed the food and beer concept with both hands. Unsurprisingly, even the breweries are on it. I know a place that gives away free Scotch pies as part of the brewery tour. I'm off. Caledonian Brewery is in the heart of Edinburgh and in true Scottish style came about through a friendship forged on the golf course between George Lorimer Jr. and Robert Clark in 1869. To this day, the brewery retains a strong sense of its history. And if you're wondering about the baseball caps, they're actually steel clad and a product of modern health and safety regulations.
In this room we're still using an original piece of equipment, and this copper funnel over here is from the 1800s, and we've just really looked after it and still use it to this day.
It doesn't look a day over
No.
a year old, does it?
No, it really doesn't. It's all lovely and shiny.
Does somebody polish it every morning?
Yeah, every week we polish it. Yep. So this is where we come in to get our hops before we head down to the coppers.
I love the smell.
It's absolutely gorgeous.
I
isn't
wish
it?
you could get the aroma, guys. on that was
Smell-o-vision.
going on in here. But actually, interestingly, Scottish beers characteristically are a lot more malty and less hopped than
Yes.
English ale, because apparently the Scots didn't want to buy anything off the English, and they were quite expensive, which kind of, figures.
I can quite imagine that, yeah.
But it's interesting that to this day, that historical, quirkiness has actually retained itself in the characteristic of the beer.
Yes, yes, and here we use the whole hop flour instead of hop oil. So it is, the guys here, the brewers here, they have it down to fine art because every year the harvest is going to be different. So, they might need to put less hops or more hops so that our beer is always consistent.
Can I do my little rubbing the hops in the hand thing?
Of course you can. Yes, yes.
Especially with these hop flowers.
Yes, here you are. Yes,
Beautiful.
you can really feel the oil when you rub it. You'll smell of hops all day though, that's the only thing. So it's great.
Isn't this
it's
fun?
Actually, historically, the brewers used to come in here and take a nap because it's kind of like lavender, it makes you sleepy and it's quite comforting. So
you could put some in a little cloth and have it next on your pillow.
Yeah, put it on your pillow. Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Smell of beer when
By
you
all
wake up
means.
in the morning, unusually. Beautiful. These are amazing.
Yes, they're brilliant, aren't they? There are open-fired coppers.
Right.
And a wonderful bit of history. We unfortunately had a fire in 1998, which started at this copper right here. And the flames just burst up. Luckily, these other two coppers weren't compromised in the fire, but of course this one was completely destroyed. So what we did was we tracked down the company Macmillan & Co., who built these originally in the 1800s, and we asked them if they could replicate this, and they actually pulled out the original blueprints from the original build.
Amazing.
So it's wonderful how they've been able to just build it like the original. We're one of the only breweries that still operate with open-fired coppers. So again, we're just so proud that we're still so traditional and still brew how they brewed back when it first opened.
And I bet you get a hell of an aroma coming out of that when it's boiling away.
Yes, it's normally a lot of steam cascading all over the place. Yeah, we need to stand back.
You don't need a sauna, do you? You just come in here and, chill out or heat up.
Yeah, or dive in. Yeah.
Great tour, Gabby. Thank you so much. The place is steeped in history. But I understand that when we finish the tour, that we get free pies?
Normally, yes, but since you've not had the full tour, I think you're going to have to get into our kitchen and cook a pie for yourself.
Oh my word, I've never cooked a Scotch pie in my life before.
Well, we've got Harry Simpson, our local butcher, coming in and he will give you a helping hand. How about that?
Thank goodness for that. Let's go do it. Brilliant. Now, you'll notice that might not be the normal colour pastry that you might normally see. What I've done, being the beer chef, is I've given it a little bit of a twist. And my motto is, why use water when you've got beer?
Okay then, Richard, we'll let that rest for a couple of minutes now. What to do is you get your mould and we'll mould it round the glass.
That's wise, because bear in mind we're going to put on a lid, we want a bit of a
Yeah,
lip. So
what do you
about
reckon?
There?
A couple of inches?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's looking great.
Yeah, okay. So I'll try and get this
A man of your calibre would do that,
even
no
as
problem
possible.
at all.
Let's hope so. Oh look, we've met the other side there, that's lovely.
That's it.
So that'll make the lid.
Would that be unusual to meet the other side, or would it be a little bit of what we call in Scotland squint?
That way. Yeah, especially after a couple of beers that you've had to go
That's
with
right,
it.
that's right.
Okay, so I reckon we should chill that down a bit.
Yeah,
in the
we'll
fridge, shouldn't we?
stick that in the fridge and then
Yeah.
we'll get on with the rest of it.
For the filling,
Yeah.
I mean, we've got minced lamb here, yeah?
Yeah, Scottish minced lamb.
And
not
naturally-
just ordinary minced lamb, Scottish minced lamb. In actual fact, it was minced not very far away from the brewery itself.
Fantastic.
Now, you're going to put a bit of salt in that. Yeah. That'll bring the flavour out. What about a wee bit of pepper?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, a wee bit of pepper in there, Richard.
Plenty, I reckon, of freshly
Yeah,
ground
yeah,
black
that'll
pepper
give
in
it
there.
a bit of flavour.
Because when I've looked at recipes for Scotch pies before, they do tend to say a bit of mace or a bit of nutmeg, but are you
Well-
not a big fan? Little pinch,
That's fine.
just to,
Yeah.
there we go.
So a wee touch of water in that, just to make it a little bit easier to mix.
I've got a better idea.
Oh, that's it. That's fantastic.
I love this kind of cooking when you just get stuck in with your hands
Yeah,
like that.
that's right.
So, proper mixing.
Nice and gently.
Come on, baby, come on.
It's coming.
Come to daddy. There we go.
And what we can do
Beautiful.
now, what to do is just mould it with your. That's it. Just mould it back up again.
Just get some of this. It's kind of like a burger in Burger on Croûte. There we go.
I wouldn't insult that nice bit of mince by saying that. Are we going to put a wee touch of gravy in there?
I reckon so.
Yeah,
I reckon so.
That'll be nice.
Yeah. Now, I don't think this is going to compare with yours from an aesthetic point of view.
But it's got that rustic look, you know, that sort of country.
Yeah,
If
like
you,
me.
If you want, well, scruffy look, scruffy.
But I'll tell you what I like with this.
Uh-huh.
Me bit of gravy oozing over the edge.
Yeah,
'Cause
that looks. That
it's going to
looks.
look nice and.
That looks great.
So we're going to get this in the oven, Harry, and then we're going to compare this with your guys.
Right, I'll stick it in soon. I've got the gloves
Okay,
on.
go for it. So, if you want to make a Scotch pie like me and Harry's at home, this is what you do. Combine the mince with salt, pepper, nutmeg and a soupçon of beer. Melt the lard in water and a little beer and add to the seasoned flour. Roll out the pastry, shape around a greased mould, trim and chill. Carefully slide the pastry case off the mould and fill. Add a touch of gravy, put on the lid and seal, bake at 180 degrees 30 minutes. Right, Harry, we've got a fabulous selection of your pies. Now, in amongst those is mine.
What one's that?
I know it's difficult to spot. Shall we call it the rustic one?
You could do.
Okay.
You could do.
But
You're going to give that a wee cut up. And
I am indeed. But
Right,
it's,
okay.
it's all about the flavour. So,
Yeah.
the moment of truth.
it's looking good.
It's
Looking
looking
good.
all right, actually, isn't
Uh-huh.
it? There we go.
Smashing.
Oh, hello. Hey, do you like the look at
Ah,
that?
looks nice.
Yeah. Well, listen. I think you better have a taste.
Right. Okay.
Now,
Right.
we've got to have it with some beer. Mm-hmm. It just goes without saying. So we've got Flying Scotsman there.
Right.
But I'm kind of liking the idea of the Caledonian 80,
Uh-huh.
which is obviously a classic Scottish ale. It's got those
Yeah.
lovely malty, sweet notes to it, quite low in bitterness. And I reckon that is going to match up beautifully with that sweetness in the lamb.
Well, let's try it.
That's my suggestion anyway.
Let's try it.
But go for it after you.
Nice.
Nice. I like that bit. One other thing I want to introduce. What about a little bit of brown sauce with your pie?
You put any of that brown sauce on any of my pies, you'll be over that border really quick.